Some horror movies were released at the perfect time in history, but if they were made today, they would probably flop. Back in '99, the Blair Witch felt real. The grainy camcorder footage, the missing person flyers, the rumors, it was all part of the scare. But in 2025, we've seen 1,000 found footage ripoffs. And now the internet runs everything in about 5 seconds flat. Now sure, Blair Witch would still get buzz, but all the panic that made it what it was back then, everybody would just look over it today. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Delco Spices for sending me their scary movie popcorn. This one's red, this one's black, non-GMO, and they have no gluten in them. I can't wait to eat this stuff. Thank you very much. Now, back to the video. This one dominated because of patience. For 90 minutes, you watch doors creak and sheets move, waiting for that final gut punch. But horror audiences now, they want immediate attention, stylized dread, and psychological horror. If Paranormal Activity come out today, most people will call it boring and turn on Netflix.
Don't want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
Now Scream reinvented the slasher by mocking the slasher. The rules of horror, the self-awareness, now that was groundbreaking. But now every horror movie, parody, or TikTok is just a joke. If Scream dropped in 2025, it'd feel like it was late to the party it actually started. Now, Psycho choked people by breaking rules, killing off your lead early. Now, that was unheard of. Showing a toilet flush, that was scandalous. But now, horror's gone so far beyond those taboos that most people today wouldn't even flinch. Now, Psycho would still be a masterpiece, but it wouldn't send people out the theater screaming like it did in 1960.
Something up there?
The entire movie builds to one of the most famous twists in movie history. But here's the problem today. Audiences are trained to expect the twist. Everyone's dissecting the trailers, spoilers leak instantly, and honestly, most people today would figure it out halfway through. Now, The Sixth Sense would be good, but it wouldn't be the cultural earthquake it was in '99. Now, before you get mad, remember, I love these movies. But horror depends on when you see it as much as what you see. They're not just products of their time. They're completely trapped there.
I've been waiting for almost a week for this shit. I mean, like, 50 grand, she better be worth it, you know what I mean? But it's supposed to be real. It's supposed to be a real rush.
Now, Hostel rode the mid-2000s wave to torture porn. Audiences really wanted to see how far horror could push the envelope. But now, the appetite for gore and spectacle just isn't there. Today, it wouldn't feel edgy. Today, it would feel like exploitation without substance. Hostel would get buried underneath A24's think pieces about trauma horror. This movie was basically about hot young stars and a mystery killer. It worked in the 90s because slashers were still fun, and it still had that teen magazine vibe. But today's audience, they'd roast it before being shallow. Maybe it would play on streaming, but it wouldn't be a theatrical event. The cursed VHS tape is terrifying if you lived in 2002. But in the streaming era, the idea of haunted physical media just feels like a relic. Now, The Ring could still work with a TikTok curse or viral video, but as it is, kids today wouldn't even know how to play the damn tape.
All I could taste was blood and metal.
Now, the original Saw was clever, low budget, and that ending was a twist. It was brilliant, but the years of sequels just killed the novelty. If the original dropped in 2025, it just wouldn't feel groundbreaking. It'd feel like just another Saw movie, which is wild because the first one deserved so much better.
You want to loosen the straps, son?
I'm afraid you might hurt yourself, Reagan.
I'm not Reagan.
Now, when this came out, priests were warning people not to see it. Theaters had ambulances outside and people were fainting. But the shock factor doesn't carry the same weight now. Now, The Exorcist would still be respected as a well-made film, but it wouldn't dominate headlines and traumatize an entire generation. But hey, I'm curious. Which one of these movies do you think would still crush today if it came out fresh? Drop your answers in the comments and I'll be responding to every single one.